Hi there. So I am still working through the stories in Tomorrow Came by Edmund Cooper. I think should be my second last video. I've got stories 8, 9 and 10 that I'll do today. And I'll finish off in the next one, I think. It's been a journey. Let me know what you think about this whole reviewing story by story. I can't decide. I did like reviewing all of Neil Ashe's stories from the Gabble at once, but a lot of short stories actually require as much attention as a short novel, so undecided. Anyway, so number 8 in this collection is called The Lizard of Woz. Sure, is it an anagram exactly? Maybe not quite, but that's basically, I'm sure, referring to the Wizard of Oz. It took me an embarrassingly long time to figure that out, but in poor lighting, when my eyes were blurred, I finally figured out that the Lizard of Woz. Anyway, embarrassing. So this was another humorous story from an author that I never expected humor from, but it's humorous, it's quirky. This is probably the most pulpy of the pulp stories in this collection. A lot of Edmund Cooper's work is classic SF, but not pulpy. The Lizard of Woz is pulp at its best, I'm gonna say. I really enjoyed it. And it was also a bit of a social commentary on humanity, or maybe lizardity, or maybe both. So our hero is called Ynkwystwystyv, Ynkwystwystyv. Luckily, we can shorten that to Inky, because otherwise I wouldn't have made it through the first page. He is from a planet 500 light years from Earth, and he's been banished to this outpost of the galaxy on a scouting mission after having lusted after a senior administrator's daughter. Apparently she had the most alluring reptilian scales you can imagine. Sex. It can bring people down, really. So he's been charged with scouting and making friendly contact with the alien species of the planet. He's not the first one coming here. Someone previous has given him the languages, so he's got languages to go with. And he first tries a USA diner, but with a ridiculous surfeit of truth, he tells the proprietor that A, he's the only scout on Earth at the moment, and that B, his report will probably end up in the planet being fumigated, and that C, if he doesn't send that report, then that won't happen. As a result, he flees the USA with shotgun pellets in his tail quite swiftly. Inky next tries to establish contact with the USSR, where he stops at an isolated railway crossing, where Comrade Ivan Sergeyevich was initially convinced that this was an attempt by Moscow to trick him. Having been convinced otherwise, and secured the information that Woz is definitely not communist, he gifts Inky with a bomb, and Inky isn't smart enough to figure that out. When that bomb explodes in his flying saucer while he's over Malaysia, he manages to make an emergency landing on the island of Komodo, where he encounters a reptilian femme fatale. Is that lizard fatale? No, it's femme fatale. She's female, right? Won't female shame lizards. Who tells him her name is Cannibal. Inky loses his heart completely to the Komodo dragon, with results which are predictable to anyone who knows anything at all about these amazing reptiles. That one was funny and so much fun, and it ended too soon. Story number 9 is The Life and Death of Plunky Goo. Now, okay, by now I'm reconciled to the fact that Edmund Cooper is writing funny, quirky stories, and any story that has got a title like that, including the words Plunky Goo, is bound to be funny, right? Wrong. This is humour of the darker, more bitter kind, perhaps, but it's basically about the effect of advertising on children from the point of view of the person who became the initially unknowing conduit of the advertising against them. It's got a high creep factor and a very high social commentary. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. Was not an easy one. Plunky Goo is just disturbing, I'm gonna say. In a good way, ish. bit disturbing. So the next one was Judgment Day. And with this story, we are far, far more like Cooper, I know. We've got an old man sitting in a post-apocalyptic world in the sun, staring out and listening to the laughter of the children, which tells us that we've survived the apocalypse. He tells us the reduction in numbers, which is a bit cute and funny as I recall it, because it says the population of the world, since we're now approaching 8 billion. The fact that this was written when the population of the world was less than 1 billion, I think that's more than slightly terrifying. But, you know. So he's remembering the day that the war began, and the war pretty much began and ended. His wife died in a park. There were H-bombs. There was botulism warfare. And it's harsh in a way. It's very Edmund Cooper. It's got that post-apocalyptic social commentary element, which is very, very Cooper. But this one felt to me more than a little bit like John Wyndham as well. I guess 2 UK authors from around about the same era, that might be enough to do it. But I think there was also a nostalgic pastoral, I don't know, there was an element to it that reminded me of John Wyndham's post-apocalyptic. It's a good story. I enjoyed it. And now I think I have only got 1 or maybe 2 left before I will wrap up this really, really nice little collection, which you should definitely read if you ever come across it. If you like Cooper, you will especially enjoy it. But if you don't like Cooper and you like classic SF short stories, I think you will find a lot in here that is really quite good, even if Cooper is not normally your flavour. So, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Read lots of good books and tell us about them. Bye.